This is Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays Baseball, presented by McCain. At the intersection of Tony Gwynn Drive and Trevor Hoffman Way, we join you from Petco Park in San Diego, California. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Madison Shipman. Down on the field is Arden Swelling. We really appreciate you tuning into the opener of this series where the Blue Jays are looking to go into the break feeling good, coming off a series win in San Francisco. This is their last series before the All-Star break.
You know, they had to feel good after those last two games, Ben, especially with the way that this team was struggling, especially in that first game against San Francisco. But they turned things around, and they're hoping that trend continues here in San Diego against the Padres.
A lot of early offense for the Blue Jays in that Giants series, and in the finale a couple of days ago, it was Kazuma Okamoto who hit a grand slam in the first inning that helped the Blue Jays combine to finish off their 19 runs in 2 games effort. They will look for more early runs as they go up against a left-hander today on the hill for the Padres is J.P. Sears.
With the lefty on the mound, that's why you're seeing so many right-handed batters in the order for the Blue Jays today. J.P. Sears has a 6-pitch combination that he's going to throw at these batters today. Really relies heavily on that 4-seam fastball. Does have a sinker, slider, sweeper, changeup, and a cutter. And he's coming off a really good start where he went 5 innings, just gave up 1 hit against the Dodgers. And the defense for the San Diego Padres tonight behind J.P. Sears. Starting in the outfield and left field, Gavin Sheets is getting the start. He made a great diving catch in last night's game. Jackson Merrill in center field, and the rookie Jace Bowen out in right field. On the infield, the 2-time Gold Glover Manny Machado over at third base. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. Fernando Tatis Jr. getting a start over at second base. Ty France, the former Blue Jay, at first base, and Rodolfo Duran getting the call back behind the plate for the Padres tonight.
Be another game where the Blue Jays lead off Ernie Clement Guerrero Jr. and Okamoto are due up for Toronto in the top of the first, as these two teams who had high expectations coming into the year look to finish off the first half closer to those expectations. You talk to folks on both sides before the game tonight, and both sides feel like they're not in the dumps, but they're not where they wanted to be.
It's really kind of interesting because both teams almost have a similar feeling coming into this series. Both of them having some good games, but then after that would be a couple of bad games, trying to work their way back in. Getting some momentum seems to be the key for both of these teams, and it starts right here on the mound with this first pitch in game 1 of this series.
J.P. Sears about to make his 4th start of the year after being called up to fill in for Lucas Giolito. Left-hander deals home. And the first pitch is a foul off of, it looked like the thumb or palm area of Duran as we're underway at 6:41 local. Beautiful night here in San Diego. Just a beautiful city to be in. And a lot of the Blue Jays enjoying their time on the off day yesterday before enjoying the weather tonight.
See Ernie a little bit frustrated with that check swing foul ball on the changeup that's down and away. That's exactly what J.P. Sears wants to do to these batters. He wants to get them thinking about that fastball and get them out in front on both the off-speed and the breaking balls.
His 2-strike pitch is a changeup. Ernie Clement back atop the Blue Jays order. That's been a big part of what they've done over the last 2 games. He's got 4 hits in those 2 games. What do you think about what he can have at the top of the order as opposed to some of the other options they've had up there?
One thing that you're going to see from Ernie is the consistency that he brings, and you see that from the numbers that he's been able to put up this season. And he can hit quite literally any pitch that a pitcher is going to throw to him, even pitches that are practically bouncing on the ground. He can figure out a way to get barreled.
Finds a way to get a piece of that slider. Pretty good pitch by Sears on the outside corner.
It was a little bit of an anomaly, though, in the last game, game 3 against the Giants. Ernie ended up taking 3 first pitch fastballs in that game, which you hardly ever see him take a first pitch in general, especially first pitch fastballs.
He'll take outside on that fastball, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And if you're the rest of this Blue Jays lineup, what you're really liking too from Ernie in this at-bat is J.P. Sears is having to throw just about everything he's got to Ernie in this at-bat. Seen a slider, couple of change-ups, fastballs.
3-2 pitch is grounded up the middle and through into center field. That's a very nice start to the day, and Ernie Clement is on with another leadoff hit for the Blue Jays.
In a 2-strike count, Ernie Clement is just battling, fouling off any pitch that he thinks is going to be close to the strike zone. This time it's a four-seam fastball about 6 inches off of the plate. And what does he do? He still manages to get his hands around this one, drive it right back up the middle. That aggressiveness and a big smile on Ernie's face over at first base, getting things going for the Jays. And
catching up with former Blue Jay Ty France, who holds him on there, as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. comes up. So that's 3 games in a row, by the way, that Ernie has come up to start the game and led off with a base hit for the Blue Jays.
Last start, it was Nathan Lucas batting in the 2 spot for the Blue Jays, correct? And he ended up getting a base hit out to center field.
Yep.
Right after that.
Now Vladimir Guerrero Jr. looking to keep some momentum going. His last at-bat was a 2-run homer he hit in the 9th inning on Wednesday. On the ground to short, over to get it Bogarts to second for one. Tatis to first in time. 6-4-3 double play.
JP Sears throws that changeup just to get your timing off enough to where you're not able to square it up, and that's exactly what happens to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on this ground ball. It's a changeup working down and inside. Typically the righties are going to see that changeup work away, that one working down and in, and he rolls over top of it for the 6-4-3 double play.
Only 3 starts this year, but experience for the South Carolinian JP Sears, 5 seasons in the big leagues. 2 outs and the bases empty. His pitch to the rookie Kazuma Okamoto is down and in. Mentioned Okamoto had the grand slam last game. He also had another hit in the 8th inning, part of a 2-for-5 day. Driving the offense right now is Kazuma Okamoto. Just snuck out that grand slam. Barely got it over the wall. High wall in right field in San Francisco. And with that, he became the first Blue Jays rookie to hit a grand slam since Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did it in 2019.
It hit the metal right on top of the brick wall out there in right field, right? Took a second, but ended up being called a grand slam.
The 1-2 pitch. And he pops this one up, but it'll get out of play.
The numbers, of course, for Okamoto this season are impressive, but what's really impressed me is the power that he's shown to the opposite field and being able to drive some of those pitches, whether they're fastballs, breaking balls, driving them the opposite way, shows the patience and adjustability that he has within his swing.
Ground ball double play really helped JP Sears because he had a 7-pitch battle with Clement to start the inning. Got Vlad to ground into the double play in 3 pitches, but now Okamoto's worked him for 5, so it hasn't been the quickest frame. But he'll get out of it right there. Strikes out Okamoto with an elevated changeup, and after the leadoff single, the Blue Jays go scoreless in the top of the first. Shane Bieber on the hill near his hometown when we come back. 22 degrees and perfect right now in San Diego, California, as the Blue Jays take on the Padres to begin this series. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Ben Schulman, Madison Shipman, and Arden Zwelling in the lineup for the Padres. Features Fernando Tatis Jr. at the top. The power has been in and out this year, but hitting for a good average on base a lot of the time, and he will look to set the lineup for the Padres against a guy who went to high school in Laguna Hills, California, a native of Orange, California. It's Shane Bieber for the Blue Jays.
Shane Bieber making his 4th start of the season so far, and he's looking to bounce back after his last start. That was on the 4th of July against the Seattle Mariners in Seattle. Ended up just going 4 innings, did give up 7 earned runs, including a grand slam to Randy Arozarena. So looking for Shane Bieber to bounce back in this start in the last series right before the All-Star break.
Bieber clearing away a little bit of dirt from the rubber, and he looks into Fernando Tatis Jr. First time he starts here in San Diego. And he will start with a strike. Late adjustment on the pitch comm. Kirk seems to agree, and here's the 0-1. Check swing appealed out at first base. Adam Hammery says they didn't go. By the way, Clint Vondrak is the home plate ump today. Hammery at first, Jen Powell at second, and Todd Tishner, the crew chief, will be at third. Tatis took him 56 games to hit his first home run. Hit it in the 56th game. Checks the swing, and they want to talk with Adam Hammery again. It's 2-1. Prior to this year, in a single season, Tatis had never gone more than 27 games homerless. It was baffling, but since then, as you can see, he's been quite good. 5 home runs over his last couple. He grounds one to third, and Okamoto will throw him out. 1 down.
The defense behind Shane Bieber for the Blue Jays tonight, starting in left field, Jonathan Clase, Dalton Varsho out in center field, and the Gold Glover Miles Straw out in right field. Going to the infield at third base, Kazuma Okamoto. Ernie Clement getting the start at shortstop tonight. Luis Urias over at second base. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first, and Alejandro Kirk back behind the plate.
Bieber uses his defense to get the first out, and now he'll face Jackson Merrill. Swing and a miss. Good bite on that breaking ball right there. That's going to be a big pitch for him if he can get that going again.
Being able to use that along with the location and where he's able to place his fastball is going to be so important for him navigating this Padres lineup. Because this is a team, too, that's looking to get going. They're wanting to take advantage of anything that they can to try to get some runs on the board. Got a lot of hitters that have either been struggling at times throughout the season, trying to figure out a way to score runs, and they know that Bieber's coming off of that rough start against the Mariners, so I guarantee they're looking to try to capitalize on that.
.93-mile-an-hour fastball there from Bieber, whose velocity has been pretty solid out of the gate here. He threw 93.5 to get Tatis, which was his second hardest pitch of the season. There's a changeup hit foul, 2-2.
I was thinking back to the first start that he made for the Blue Jays last year at the end of August, going up against the Marlins, and went back and rewatched some of those pitches, and the late life that he had on the four-seam fastball, I felt like made the changeup an even better pitch. It made the breaking balls even better.
It's a breaking ball hit foul, another knuckle curve.
And for me, it's not so much just the velocity, but it's the late life you get on the pitch. What can you do to kind of throw off the hitter from being able to square up some of those pitches? He ended up with 9 strikeouts in that start, too. I believe it was John Schneider that said that he was a believer after that one. But just haven't been able to see that consistency through the first 3 starts for Bieber this season. A lot of pitches that he's leaving more over the middle of the plate.
Big miss there on 2-2. Here's his 3-2 to Merrill. And he misses for ball 4.
Walks continue to be an issue too for really feels like a lot of starting pitchers for the Blue Jays this season.
Since June 1st, pardon me, they've walked more batters, the Blue Jays starters, than anyone else in baseball on a percentage basis, walking 11% of hitters they face. Xander Bogaerts to the plate, the veteran shortstop, longtime Red Sox, will take high ball 1. '14th season for Bogaerts, a 4-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger, and a 2-time World Series champ. Slider there for Bieber, misses. And after the walk, he's falling behind 2-0.
Yeah, this is the exact spot if you're Bogaerts that you want to be in. You're in a good hitter's count, so it's forcing Bieber to have to throw something over the middle of the plate. And on the flip side for Shane, now you're falling behind, trying to work your way back into this count.
Bogaerts swings and drives the ball left center field. Clase and Varsho going back, and it's gone. 9th of the season for Xander Bogaerts, who got himself into a good spot, and even though that pitch was out of the zone, had a very healthy rip on a fastball.
It can completely change your mindset as a batter when you know that you're in a 2-0 count. If you have one specific speed or one specific pitch that you're going after, you can almost expand outside of the strike zone because you are so set on looking for that particular pitch. And after Shane Bieber misses way out of the zone with the slider, you figure he's going to try to come back, try to get back in this count with a fastball. He does that, he leaves it up, and Xander Bogaerts sends it out of the yard.
Tough start to the outing as Bieber looks to settle back in this first. Got Tatis on a ground out, then a walk and a home run, and now he'll pitch to Manny Machado.
You can see just how high this four-seam fastball is. It's almost right at the letters where it says San Diego on that jersey, but Xander Bogaerts was selling out to that spot, and he got his barrel out in front.
Miss inside there on the 0-1 from Bieber, 1-1. Another veteran on this Padres club, Machado in his 15th season, a 7-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger, and 2-time Gold Glover. Was a Platinum Glove as well. Pretty good breaking ball though from Bieber to make it 2-2. It's a real interesting year for Machado, who is hitting a lot of home runs but has taken a big step back in terms of contact so far. And he strikes out swinging there. Bieber has his first strikeout of the start.
Good way to bounce back there. Goes back with the changeup and gets Machado way out in front. Excuse me, that was a cutter that he's getting down and away. Good pitch there. Machado thinking he was going to see another fastball, and instead he's way out in front.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using the code STRIKEOUT. First pitch curveball to Gavin Sheets. Pitch first inning now for Shane Bieber, who misses down and away. Sheets, a longtime White Sox, second year with the Padres, where he's turned his career around a lot. Career highs in almost everything in 2025. Bieber being pretty careful, staying away from the lefty hitter right now.
And missing out of the zone by quite a bit too. That last changeup way down and away. And again, another hitter's count for the Padres. These are the at-bats too where you start to see that pitch count get higher and higher, and we've talked about it. The starter is not being able to give the Blue Jays length. They're having to go into that bullpen earlier, and it's innings like this where you see the starters have those short outings.
And the second walk of the inning as the fastball misses low. It's the second hardest fastball of the year for Bieber. The stuff in some ways has been stronger in this first inning, but the command has not been there.
It almost feels like at times some of the pitches are moving a little bit more than they have in the previous starts. So trying to figure out what's going to be the sweet spot of getting that velocity and getting that movement, but most importantly, getting the location.
2025 Blue Jay Ty France batting, back with the club he debuted with, as he takes outside ball one. After going to the World Series with the Blue Jays and then picking up a Gold Glove for his trouble as well, Ty France joined the Padres in free agency on a one-year, $1.35 million deal. Big rip there as Bieber gets some chase on a cutter.
France just a little bit lower in his legs in his stance when looking at his swing this year compared to last year, but still seems like he is hunting for those pitches in the bottom part of the zone, clearly hacking on that last pitch.
What he's doing this year is working. He's having one of the stronger seasons of his career, especially of the last couple of years since his All-Star campaign in 2022. Without his offensive contributions, while some of the other Padres have had slower starts to the year, they'd be in a lot more trouble. Limited action, he's got 10 home runs, and he'll take high.
30 RBIs on the season too, so what are you doing when you have people on base, being able to figure out a way to drive in those runs? Seems like at times for both of these teams, runs coming at a premium. So you'll take those timely pieces of hitting when you can get them.
France hits it up the middle and into left center. Sheets will stop at second, and this inning just continues for Shane Bieber and the Blue Jays. A marathon bottom of the first. Well, he'll throw probably 30 pitches.
Two-strike swing here from Ty France, and he gets a slider that's down and away, pretty well located. But like we talked about earlier, it seems like that's the sweet spot for Ty France. He wants something low in the zone so that he can drop his barrel. Gets around that one and hits it right past Ernie Clement. Pete Walker out of the dugout to have a quick chat with Shane Bieber and Alejandro Kirk after this long inning, maybe even to give him a second, a little bit of a breather.
Started the inning with a ground ball, walk, homer, strikeout, walk, single.
I'm thinking back 2 starts ago too against the Rangers. It was a 27 pitch first inning, if I'm remembering correctly, for Shane Bieber. First pitch home run from Jock Peterson in that game.
Padres got the homer from Bogaerts to take a 2-0 lead in this first, and now Miguel Andujar will swing and hit it on the ground. Ernie Clement pounces on it, throws to second, and in one pitch after the mound visit, Bieber gets out of the jam. 2-run frame, though, on the Bogaerts homer. The Padres are up 2-0. Blue Jays in an early 2-0 hole. If this is the Blue Jays lineup we've seen over the last 2 games, that is not a hole too big to climb out of. It just has been a real up and down road trip. First 4 days of the trip, that 2-run first by the Padres would have been nearly enough to win every game. But the Blue Jays seem to have turned a bit of a corner.
Well, and I think the Blue Jays and Blue Jays fans everywhere are hoping to see that red home run dragon, the jacket and the dragon.
Yeah, both
combination
work.
of both of them. I know there's a couple of other dragons that are over there in that dugout too, but hoping that they make more appearances in this series.
Kind of a family of dragons right now with the Blue Jays. First pitch to George Springer, who recently added to his family. He takes a strike.
I'm just combining jacket and dragon all into one phrase, I guess.
So are they with their celebration. George Springer coming off a home run in his last at-bat against the Giants. Was his 9th home run of the season. Continues, as you can see right there, what's been a Springer trending up over the last couple of weeks, close to a month. Which is a huge deal for the Blue Jays if they can get him going again close to the levels that they would have projected going into the year.
A lot of players you could say that for in this lineup too. You get them going, all of a sudden you can get on that win streak, start to gather up all that momentum. I know for as much as we talked about the All-Star break too, the trade deadline coming up too, you want to be in a spot where you're playing well, especially looking at the standings. Really, both of these teams, there's still a shot. There's still definitely a postseason shot, but you want to continue to keep playing better, and a lot of that starts with the offense.
Springer takes just outside there, or at least according to Clint Vondrack, it's 2-2. J.P. Sears had a nice first after giving up a leadoff hit to Ernie Clement on a ground ball double play and a strikeout. And his 2-2 is hit on the ground sharply to third, and Machado throws out Springer. Sears kind of trying to reestablish himself as a regular starter. He came along from the A's with Mason Miller in that blockbuster trade at the deadline last year that sent the stud closer from the Athletics over to the Padres. Had been a regular starter over parts of 4 seasons with the A's, over 500 innings. Big prospect at one time for the New York Yankees, but at AAA El Paso for all of this year until late June. Alejandro Kirk up to the plate, and today's a very special day for him. Only about 25-30 minutes away from his hometown of Tijuana. There were people yelling for him, asking for pictures before the game, and so many fans, and not just for him, a lot of fans crossing the border to see Brandon Valenzuela and Luis Urias as well. But Kirk, so local to the area, talked about coming to see games here when he was a kid.
And he told us that he has quite a few friends and family members that are here at the game today. What did he say, about 25 or so?
25, I believe. Nice catch on that foul ball, by the way. Fan made a nice play. But Kirk will remain up. They're not banana ball here in San Diego. It's 2-2.
See, I missed it. Did the fan have a glove on?
He did have a glove on.
Okay, all right. He came prepared.
But Kirk had talked about coming over to play tournaments around here as a kid, coming to games here. And he'll swing and miss there to strike out, 2 down.
Couple of awkward swings we've seen from the Blue Jays today against JP Sears. That time it's a four-seam fastball way up and away. Already thrown that changeup quite a bit to these right-handed batters. Now going to face the lefty Dalton Varsho.
Only lefty hitter that he'll see. Blue Jays have a switch hitter in Jonathan Clase, but that's it. It's a big hack there on a four-seamer. Blue Jays have Keys, Jimenez, Lucas on the bench. This one is stung well, but on the ground and picked up by Xander Bogaerts, who just gets Varsho to end the inning. JP Sears has faced the minimum through 2 innings in middle of the second. It's 2-0 Padres.
30 pitches for Shane Bieber in his first inning, but only 3 of them sliders, and that is the continuation of an unusual trend for Bieber, whose slider has been such an integral weapon for him throughout his career, but it's his least used pitch this season, and we'll show you why on these heat maps on the left. Look at 2025 and just how consistently Bieber was locating it glove side down, and then on 2026, look at him this year being a lot more sporadic with the pitch. Seems like he just does not have a consistent feel for it. You see all those ones over the heart of the plate. That is obviously not the location Bieber is looking to be in, and that's why he's allowed a couple of homers off of his slider already this season after allowing only 2 after it all of last year. Hitters are batting .714 against it. Last year they hit .175. Now Bieber's lost some horizontal movement on the slider. That's a major contributor. Same goes for his cutter, which he's allowed another 2 homers off of. In order for him to start looking more like himself, Ben, he's going to need to figure those pitches out.
Absolutely, Arden. And the hit he gave up to Ty France in the first inning, although it was a pretty good location, was on the slider as well. There's a first pitch curveball. That's a strike to Jace Bowen. Not just that the slider is potentially easier to catch up to right now than last year, but what do you think that impacts Bieber overall when that slider isn't working as well as it did last year in Madison?
Well, I even think about things from the opponent offensive perspective, and when you're looking at that pitch, when you're thinking about the slider, especially for these right-handed batters, when that pitch doesn't have as much horizontal movement as Arden was just mentioning, when it just has more north and south movement.
There's a line drive foul.
It almost feels like you can get your bat to those pitches a little bit easier than if it were to move down and move away from your barrel. So game planning then becomes just a little bit easier as far as what you want to go after, just because the shape of that pitch isn't necessarily diving down and away from those right-handed batters. But to your point that you mentioned earlier, it does feel like he has some pretty good movement on his pitches today. He just hasn't been able to locate them in the strike zone, although he's finding himself ahead here 1-2 to Bowen.
A couple of cutters used, and then a fastball for strike 3 looking. There's another 94 from Bieber and his second K.
Really well located pitch right outside, right on the corner. And and low in the zone too. Clearly Moen, thinking that he's going to see something else, was not thinking that that was going to be called for a strike. You can see the surprise on his face too, but it gets called for strike 3.
Alejandro Kirk there.
Catcher's challenging the pitch.
I don't know if this potentially could have been a reaction to maybe a challengeable one in the last at-bat. This closer look is brought to you by
confirmed. Toronto has
Specsavers,
one
but that
challenge
pitch
remaining.
is pretty clearly out of the zone.
You and I were joking about this before the game. When you think about 1.5 inches or 1.6 inches right there, really not a large distance, but when you think of it in terms of ABS and the challenges, it feels like that's a huge margin right there that pitch missed outside of the zone.
Yeah, when you watch without a box there and it misses by 1.5 inches, it is not as bad of a call as it might seem. But the Blue Jays down to 1 challenge left. And that'll be a line drive base hit for Rodolfo Duran, who is on with 1 out. The catcher for the Padres getting the start to spell Luis Campusano.
Duran getting a good piece of this one here. 4-seam fastball right at the top of the zone. We've seen that a couple of times tonight where the batters are looking for it. Looks like he's trying to tell Alejandro Kirk he wants those pitches more down instead of locating the fastballs up, because now that's 2 that have pretty much been tattooed at that zone. He's wanting to locate those 4-seamers more in the bottom part of the zone.
Back to the top of the order with Fernando Tatis Jr. Tatis starting at second base tonight, his 39th start of the year at second base. May remember him coming up as a shortstop, but he's actually found much more of a home in right field over the last couple of years, where he's won 2 Gold Gloves and 2 Platinum Gloves in right field.
Has a great arm out in right field. Probably doesn't get to show that off near as much over at second base.
Case where tonight you don't have Jake Cronenworth in the lineup. They had him at second base when Cronenworth was hurt at times. Second base is open. No Sun Mung Song in the lineup as well. It's a great night for baseball in San Diego. Blue Jays got to soak it up yesterday. Now they're looking to come back today. Shane Bieber with a 3-1 pitch to Fernando Tatis. And it is hit back to the mound. Bieber goes to second for 1 and on to first by Urias for the double play. Shane Bieber helps out his own cause with a great stab up the middle and begins an inning-ending 1-4-3 double play. Blue Jays look to carry the momentum into the third. 2-0 Padres. During the last break, the Padres throwing up a tribute to Dylan Cease, year's starter in San Diego, including a 2024 no-hitter for Dylan Cease, which he almost repeated in his last outing. He had talked about how much he enjoyed being a member of the community here in San Diego, living here, and got to catch up with, it felt like almost every Padre out there before the game. I mean, so many guys carried over from last year. He was saying hi and hugging and out in the bullpen and over near the dugout with pretty much all these guys who he battled with and had a couple 90-win seasons with over 2024 and 2025.
He was asked, too, what memory of his time in San Diego, what's something that stands out? He said, well, the easy answer would be the no-hitter, but he said it's the little things just living here in San Diego. You could tell him talking about it, really enjoyed his time here with the Padres.
Here's another former Padre. Luis Urias debuted as a Padre. Played 83 games for San Diego between 2018 and 2019 when he was just 21 and 22 years old. And I think a pitch comm issue for Rodolfo Duran.
Got to make sure you're on the same page, Ben, right?
We almost wonder, no one on base. But I digress.
Hey, if you're out there, if you're back there catching, you want to make sure you know which pitch is coming.
For sure. 1-0. Urias takes inside 2-0.
Every time I see the pitch comm's not working or the going to change out the equipment, I can hear Joe Siddle somewhere saying, just throw the fingers down, just go ahead and call the sign.
There's nothing wrong with the nail polish. No one's on base. 2-0 to Urias. And that'll get the top of the zone for a strike. Urias in the Padres organization 2014 to 19. Briefly was a teammate at AA of Fernando Tatis Jr. And he will line this ball, and it's caught by Machado. The 2013 Platinum Glover with a great play, and there's one out.
Really nice piece of hitting by Urias on this pitch. This is a changeup, a pitch that a lot of batters have already gotten out on in this game, and he hits a line drive over to Machado, who makes that look easy, times it up, that little extra hop in his step, jumps up, and JP Sears absolutely loves it, taking a base hit away from Urias.
Maybe a little bit of too much stretch there for Machado, who has had a bit of an eventful week. He fouled a ball off his big toe on Wednesday, and so they held him out of the lineup on Thursday, plus he got a long-needed root canal, according to the Padres broadcast. He had not wanted to get one when he had a game on a certain day because how it might impact him. So he figured, if I'm getting the off day, I may as well get a root canal. So I would venture to say that that was not his favorite day that he's had in the last
I'm not sure what sounds more painful, fouling the ball off into your foot or the root canal.
Good thing is his foot is healthy and his teeth are as well. And here's Miles Straw lifting one to straightaway center field. Going back Merrill, and he will make the catch in front of the warning track. Good hack there by Straw, but just missed it by a hair.
We've seen now back-to-back swings, the one from Urias and now Straw, where they're making more solid contact, able to time up those pitches just a little bit better. You're not seeing the results just yet, but in my opinion, those are much better quality at-bats than what we saw through the first two innings.
Jonathan Clase was the spark plug in San Francisco. Will bat here, the switch hitter batting right. Did his damage in San Francisco from the left side, and typically, at least the last 3 seasons, Clase has produced more as a lefty hitter than a righty hitter. But got a shot here as a righty against the southpaw Sears. Righties have done a lot more damage against Sears than lefties. Part of the reason that the Blue Jays have their lineup this way. And Clase hits one through the left side for the second Blue Jays hit of the night. And he continues his strong road trip.
You can see these swings in this inning just feel different. There's a lot more intention about going after certain pitches in certain locations. This time it's a sweeper coming from the left hand of JP Sears. So this pitch is going to dive more down into the barrel of Jonathan Clase. He gets his barrel out in front of him and hits it out to left field. And another strong swing.
Lefty on the mound, but whenever he's on base, you got to think about whether they might try and send him. 17 stolen bases at AAA this year. Also with Clase at 9 and Clemente at 1, you have a decent hit and run kind of combination, although you don't have to move the second baseman. Tatis is playing right up the middle.
You can see the way that Ernie's back foot is moving on these first two swings, both of them foul balls. It almost seems like he's trying to aim to hit these pitches through that 3-4 hole because Tatis is playing right up the middle. Watch his back foot here, almost giving him some more clearance to try to drive that ball the opposite direction.
With Tatis up the middle and France holding on Clase, essentially the full 90 feet there in between the bases is open for Clement. And here's the first check on Clase. Clement lifts one out to left center field, and Merrill is there to end the top of the third. 2-out hit for Jonathan Clase. Nothing more as the Padres keep their 2-0 lead. Fans, it's time to relive the back-to-back World Series championships. On Saturday, July 18th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a set of 92 and 93 World Series replica rings. Also, tune in or arrive early to witness the unveiling of the back-to-back statue to honor the Blue Jays' consecutive World Series wins. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/tickets. Jackson Merrill will lead it off and take a strike. We're very fortunate today. Jesse Agler, who's part of a great pair on Padres radio with Tony Gwynn Jr., got his hands a couple of weeks ago on a Blue Jays Phillies World Series program from 1993, which we have now commandeered to take back home and will be at Rogers Center in the radio booth after the All-Star break.
Well, and you started flipping through it too, and Jesse was looking over going, maybe I should have kept that a little bit longer.
But they are a great crew and great people as well. Really appreciate that from them. Jackson Merrill had a walk in the first inning, kind of started that rally for the Padres where they scored a pair. This time he hits one on the ground, backhanded by Clement, and the throw to first in time for the out. Shane Bieber, though, has faced the minimum over the last 5 and does look to be settling in a bit, Madison, after giving up the home.
It reminds me a lot of his start against the Rangers that we talked about earlier, where he gave up that leadoff home run to Jock Peterson, ended up throwing 27 pitches in the first inning. And when I had a chance to talk to John Schneider before his start in Seattle, he had talked about how that first pitch home run almost kind of snapped Shane Bieber almost into a different zone. Just you go out there, you throw the first pitch, you're trying to get settled, and then boom, all of a sudden you're down by 1 run. Maybe we're seeing something similar, a similar trend here against the Padres.
Well, this is the guy that got him, and there's a slider for a strike to Bogaerts. It wasn't that the pitch he threw to Bogaerts was a bad one. It was actually a tough pitch in theory to homer on, but it was a hitter's count at 2-0, and he was looking for it. Did he go there? He did. You could tell by his reaction. Adam Hammery confirms it. It's 1-2.
Nice spot for the knuckle curve too, coming right after that slider was called for a strike. You could see the aggressiveness and just the way that Bogaerts took that pitch, or tried to take that pitch, that he was looking to hit on that.
On the ground to third, coming forward, Okamoto, 2 down.
What a difference to getting ahead in the count makes. It felt like back in that first inning we saw a lot of 2-0 counts and 2-1 counts to where the hitter feels like they're in control of the at-bat. Now you're able to get ahead in a 1-2 count to Bogaerts, and you get him to swing at a knuckle curve at the bottom part of the zone, hit a nice easy ground ball over to Okamoto, and now you're 1 out away from getting out of this inning.
Manny Machado is the roadblock for Bieber right now. First pitch low. Five home runs, 9 RBIs in the last 11 games for Manny Machado, who was very aggressive last night. Went first pitch swinging, first couple at bats, and homered on one of them off Merrill Kelly. He does seem to be getting in the swing of things as well after having a bit of a slower start. And he'll line one to left field for a base hit. Clase is going to get it out of the corner and keep Machado to a single.
Bieber got Manny Machado to swing at that knuckle curve down the pitch before. He tries to come back with another one of those breaking balls, and look at the way that it just backs up on Bieber. So it's going to hang a little bit higher and move into the barrel of Manny Machado, who has such a level, powerful swing going through the zone. And he hits that one 112 off of the bat to left field.
You can be real glass half full with the Padres if you want to be, because they are a game below 500 and they're just starting to get Machado and Tatis going. Gavin Sheets takes down an in ball one. I mean, that's Machado's hardest hit ball of the year. He's homering now at a very high rate. And they've had a lot of injuries. You can see how things could go better for San Diego.
I got to admit too, Ben, watching the Padres play against the Diamondbacks and even against the Dodgers too, watching how hard some of their batters put the ball in play, I was kind of surprised when you look at the overall record of this team and even some of the individual numbers for these players. You're almost surprised because they have such talented hitters top to bottom and such powerful swings, guys that can drive the ball out of the ballpark at any given moment. Not to mention too the speed. This is a team that likes to run the bases. They want to be aggressive out there, trying to cause some chaos too, and they were able to do that a couple of times in their previous couple of series, forcing some unnecessary throws that lead to an extra 90 feet that ultimately leads to extra runs.
Breaking ball spins in for a strike, and knuckle curve to make it 2-2. Machado on first, 2 down. And a fastball fouled back. Two again. And this one hit at Luis Urias, who will end the 3rd inning. Another scoreless frame for Shane Bieber. The Blue Jays trying to get their bats going, trailing 2-0 a third of the way through.
Well, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. recently played his 1,000th MLB game, and sometime in the next few weeks he'll cross another milestone, facing the 1,000th unique pitcher he's seen in his career, which is as good a time as any to demonstrate just how much MLB has changed over the years. The 4 names to Guerrero's right are all among MLB's top 15 in career plate appearances, yet Guerrero's already faced far more pitchers than Pete Rose and Willie Mays did in their entire careers, while he's nearly level with Dave Winfield, who made many of those plate appearances here in San Diego. And at his current pace, Guerrero will surpass Cal Ripken Jr. in pitchers faced sometime next season. Ripken has the 7th most plate appearances all time, and he didn't play that long ago. He retired in 2001. There are 100 reasons why baseball at its highest level is harder than it's ever been, but today's players seeing different arms exponentially more often than their predecessors, that's a big one.
Yeah, and they have machines, the traject, the eye pitch, that can tell you what the stuff looks like, but the actual reps, Madison, of seeing these pitchers, of getting a feel for how they're sequencing you, that's got to be invaluable for players when they do get so many repeat viewings of a guy.
Well, and I think that's why too, when you look at starting pitchers, especially going 2nd and 3rd time through the order, you start to see the batting averages for the hitters start to climb up because they have more and more information going into each and every pitch and each and every at bat.
Vlad is a career 1 for 9 on JP Sears, by the way.
When you're seeing new arms every time you step into the batter's box, you've almost got to recalibrate your game plan and see and think about something completely different. And it almost feels like if you don't get it done in that one moment, then you're not going to get another opportunity against that pitcher within the game, because we do see so many pitching changes, and I've got a ton of highlighters to prove it. I use a different highlighter for every pitcher that we see. I know my highlighters aren't necessarily going to make the graphic, but you know what I mean.
Some of them might have spilled on the Padres City Connect jerseys today. They got a lot going on.
I like them. I think they look
I like
really
them
cool.
too.
I really like them.
It's their 2.0. The last one was a
Yes.
lighter colored. Good take there by Guerrero. And it's full count. Hit into a double play in the first. He faces a 3-2 pitch here in the fourth. And he'll take ball 4. It's a sinker that ran away.
Good at bat there from Vladdy with a couple of close takes and pitches that you might see him swing at in the past couple of weeks, just trying to force something to happen. But this is where that offensive momentum that you got back in the San Francisco series kind of carries over, because you feel like as a batter you don't have to go up there and hit a home run every single time, because you can pass the bat along, especially to Okamoto, who we know can leave the yard.
Yeah, he might be trying to hit a home run right now as he takes an elevated fastball. It's a favorable matchup from a Blue Jay perspective, because Sears as well, he gave up 2 homers per 9 last year. That was most among major league pitchers with 100 or more innings pitched. Sinker, changeup. Everything out or on the outer half. Now he comes back to the inside edge with a fastball to make it 2-2. Big pitch. And he gets him on a changeup. Second time that Sears has struck out Okamoto. First out of the fourth.
Started him off with a sinker and then gets that sinker that he threw in there for strike 2. Kind of speeds up Okamoto a little bit. Then he drops that changeup back in there. So that changeup's going to have that bite down and away from Okamoto's barrel and gets him just a bit out in front for the strikeout.
Second at bat for George Springer, who admitted, rightfully so, that he's quite excited for the break to get to go back to see his new baby boy.
Congratulations again to the Springer family.
As much as I'm sure he enjoys being here, more important places to be for him. And it's another game where they hit him in the cleanup spot. I mean, he's been a leadoff hitter so much of his career, but in so many ways, Madison almost profiles more like your typical cleanup hitter with his power.
And it just feels like this team, and especially John Schneider, are doing whatever they can to get this offense going. And that doesn't necessarily just mean making the changes in the order or putting different people in there, but even busting out the red home run jacket and the home run dragon, you name it, they're going to try it to get this team moving in the right direction. There's the red home run jacket.
Brought it in on Canada Day. That was a good day for them. Why not stick with it? 2 games into the Dragon era. They're 2-0, so the Dragon is here
the Dragon era
in San Diego as well. Whatever works. These are 2 teams trying to get going. Entering today, Padres were 30th in baseball in runs per game out of 30. Blue Jays were 28th. Springer hits it through the right side, and Guerrero will move on to second. First time in the game they have multiple runners on.
It's another great piece of hitting, too, from George Springer. He gets a four-seam fastball more at the bottom part of the zone, and getting this location is a product of taking the four-seamer on the pitch before. Taking the four-seam at the top of the zone forces J.P. Sears to try to bring something a little bit lower, and Springer's ready for it and drives it out to right field.
First pitch to Alejandro Kirk. Kirk struck out swinging on a four-seam fastball in his first at-bat back in the second. This time he lifts the ball to right center field. Going back, Merrill still going. It's over his head. Coming around third, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Springer meets his stop sign, slides to halt his momentum, and will dive back into third. RBI double for Alejandro Kirk, and the Blue Jays are on the board, trailing 2-1.
We saw a lot of outs from J.P. Sears early in the game on the changeup. This time, Alejandro Kirk gets a changeup. It's down below the zone, and he goes after it and drives it all the way over the head of Jackson Merrill in center field. It looked like for a second that we were going to have two runs coming across to score, but Vladdy's watching that one drop, takes off immediately, and watch George Springer hustling around third base. Carlos Fablis holds him up at the last second. He slides and dives back safely into third base. You can see Alejandro Kirk looking on very intently, too, in the background of that shot, making sure that George got back safely. He did, but another great piece of hitting by the Blue Jays.
And for Kirk, his first extra base hit in 8 games. You got to go back to his home run against the Texas Rangers on the 27th of June.
And it's another example, too, of a pitch that's outside of the strike zone, but it's all about going after a certain location and certain speed in those counts, knowing that this is what you're hunting in this at-bat. This changeup, look at how low it is. About 6 or 7 inches down below the strike zone. That pitch is not a strike, but by that swing that Alejandro Kirk takes on it, you could tell that that was the pitch that he was going after. Some good base running here, too. George hustling around, the sliding stop. Dives safely back into third.
Machado was chuckling with him as he got up. And now Machado and the Padres play in. Dalton Varsho on the ground, and Ty France watching Springer the whole way. Goes to the bag, still staring at him, 2 down. Big pitch there. Going to the slider, J.P. Sears to get Varsho out in front.
Just kind of rolled over on that pitch. I feel like we've seen that at times recently from Varsho, especially when he's getting those pitches on the low part of the zone, which we know is his strength. That seems to be where he wants those pitches. But when he's out in front, rolls over with that top hand, and it's a ground ball to first.
Still 2 in scoring position, and Luis Urias set to hit after Sears gets back on the rubber. On another day, Luis Urias might have had a hit in the 3rd inning. He lined out to third. Nice stretch up for Manny Machado to make the catch. Urias working himself into a good count here, and the Blue Jays starting to elevate that J.P. Sears pitch count.
The more hard contact you make, the more the pitcher is going to want to start kind of nibbling at those corners, and you're seeing him miss more and more outside of that strike zone.
Urias hits it on the ground to third. Machado will retire the side. Blue Jays on the board, though, after the leadoff walk from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the George Springer single. Alejandro Kirk with an RBI double, his 3rd double of the season to make it 2-1, middle of the 4th. Head to Rogers Center on August 1st as the Blue Jays celebrate Transformers Day. Be one of the first 15,000 fans to receive your very own Blue Jays Transformers hat. Then stick around after the game for a special post-game screening of the Transformers, the movie, to celebrate its 40th anniversary. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Shane Bieber deals home to Ty France and misses outside ball one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Madison Shipman. Down on the field is Arden Swelling here at Petco Park in San Diego. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Swing and a miss by France. Looking for the ball down. Got a hit on a breaking ball in the first inning. Bieber gave up 2 in the first, but has settled in since. And now ahead of France.
Good location up in the zone, too, after him taking a hack at that knuckle curve. I feel like at times you might be tempted to go back to that breaking ball. But to your point, Ben, I think he's looking for something in the bottom part of the zone. So I like that location with the four-seamer right at the top.
A couple of guys from the LA area battling it out right now. Laguna Hills, where Bieber went to high school, a little more South LA. Ty France, a little more East LA. 8th season for the righty hitter who went to San Diego State. Actually played under Tony Gwynn at San Diego State before becoming a San Diego Padre.
And Shane Bieber from UC Santa Barbara, which is a little bit north of LA. A lot of California connections, I feel like.
The 3-2 pitch is lifted to right center, and the catch made by Miles Straw. A lot of range out there in that gap between Straw and Varsho.
Pretty easy tracking it down, too, between the two of them out there communicating as they're both going for that ball, making sure that that ball does not find the grass out in the outfield.
Jonathan Clase in left field today for the Blue Jays, as well as Miguel Andujar takes a strike. Andujar coming off one of the best seasons of his big league career, part of how he got the one-year $4 million deal with the Padres. A and a red last season when he batted .318. He's a platoon player, especially valuable against lefties, but can play corners in the infield and outfield too.
Had 28 extra base hits last season. 5 home runs, 21 RBIs so far this year.
Couple of walks for Shane Bieber today, but they both came back in the first inning. He's not walked a batter since. And he will now check swing, and he did not go.
Make it up Friday with McCain, official French fry of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Blue Jays fell down 2-0 early in this game. They just got it to 2-1 with an RBI double from Alejandro Kirk, and now Shane Bieber looking for a ground ball. Jace Bowen is up and will take a strike. Bieber punched out Bowen back in the second.
Got him looking on a four-seam fastball, and he watches another four-seamer go by for strike one. A very well located pitch, low and outside.
25-year-old rookie faces an 0-1 and swings and misses.
15 strikeouts coming into today, so now 16 strikeouts on the season for Bowen. Will chase at those fastballs up and the breaking balls down, and we've seen an example of that already in this at-bat.
That's 16 Ks in 26 games now. Came up to replace Ramon Laureano, who needed hip surgery to repair a torn labrum. And And he'll strike out on a breaking ball in the dirt. 2 down.
3 straight pitches from Shane Bieber in this at-bat, all well executed. Got him looking at that first called strike on that 4-seam fastball, then back-to-back knuckle curves. When you've got him swinging, when you've got him that far out in front, went back with that same pitch. The second strikeout on the evening for Bowen.
First pitch to Rodolfo Duran is down for a hit. He's got 2 hits already as that curve stays up. And the Padres flip the lineup over here in the 4th.
When Duran went to swing at this pitch, watch how he puts his front foot down. He's trying to eliminate any movement. Almost kind of reminds me a bit of a 2-strike approach where you're trying to just get that front foot down and just throw your hands at the pitch. And he does exactly that, kind of waits back on it too. Hits it hard out into left field. A couple of hits now for Duran.
A guy who in limited action was hitting 132 coming into this game. That's a big base hit because Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to get the opportunity to come up with 2 on. He is 0 for 2 in this game, though, hitting to a double play in the second that Bieber started. Although he hit that double play off the bat at 113 miles an hour, so he did square it up pretty well, just to the wrong place.
He has been hitting the ball extremely hard recently. I know his home run numbers on the season aren't up, but he will drive the ball hard out into the gaps. Not including today's swings, but the last series that the Padres had against the Diamondbacks, 5 of the 11 balls that he put into play came off of the bat at 100 miles per hour or higher. Now, if you take away the bunt for the base hit, 5 of the 10 balls that he put in play were off the bat at 100 or more.
You saw that runners in scoring position average of 386. That's 5th best in Major League Baseball this year. The 2-1 pitch is popped up, foul out of play. 2-2.
With the way that he was on that pitch, the difference between that ball going out into the gaps and that one just being a foul ball is that late arm side run on the 4-seamer inside. If that pitch doesn't have that late life, that pitch might end up right on the sweet spot of the barrel to Tatis. Velocity holding at 93.2 on that 4-seamer for Bieber.
Sat around 92 this year. His 80th pitch of the start, and he gets him swinging. Got him on this slider, and Shane Bieber strands a pair to keep it 2-1 Padres. 4th K of the start on one of the nastier breaking balls he's thrown tonight.
Well, the Blue Jays swung a small trade today with the Minnesota Twins, sending Tommy Nance an international bonus pool space to Minneapolis in exchange for 21-year-old catcher Ryan Sprock. Now, Sprock was an 8th-round college pick last season, and he's just reached high A, but he was the Florida State League's player of the month in June. He hit .306 with a 144 weighted runs created. Plus, he had 3 more walks than strikeouts, so clearly his stock is trending upwards. And the Blue Jays like what he brings, and they've been trying to address their minor league catching depth for a while now. They see it as an organizational need. Remember, a similar small deal last deadline brought in Brandon Valenzuela from these Padres for Will Wagner. Now, why was it Nance going the other way? Well, the Blue Jays feel like they have a decent surplus of right-handed relief. It's also worth noting that Nance was out of options, so if the Blue Jays are going to add any relievers between now and the trade deadline, Nance was a possible candidate then to be DFA'd.
Yeah, a lot going on there as Miles Straw pushes a bunt, and Sears can't make the bare hand. Straw putting the pressure on the pitcher for a leadoff base runner.
I like this decision by Miles Straw to go ahead and put something down and force some chaos on the infield. J.P. Sears looked like he was going to have a play on it, but the only play he had was to barehand that ball. So as soon as he doesn't come up with that one cleanly, you know that Miles Straw is going to be safe all day long.
Wonder if they think about putting down another. You got the speed of Jonathan Clase up. He'll square, but take a strike.
Especially with two being able to flip the lineup over. You get the top of the order coming up.
Comes after Straw's second bunt hit this season. Now Clase is going to swing and vaults the ball out to right. Bowen's got it. Back to what Arden was discussing, the trade Tommy Nance for Ryan Sprock. What a couple of days for Ryan Sprock. He was with the Fort Myers Mighty Muscles. I think they're still mighty. In Florida, gets promoted to High A Cedar Rapids Colonels in Iowa. And then now you got to pack your bags and head, I would guess, to Vancouver.
John Schneider did say that things happen very quickly. I'd imagine that they're happening even quicker for him.
Ernie Clement on the ground, foul, but Tommy Nance, who was quite important to this team at times over the last couple of years, did make a playoff roster last season. Just ends up maybe being crunched a little bit by so many righty relievers.
And John Schneider did say that he felt like they had enough capable guys over there in the bullpen to be able to step in.
Right now, that's probably Chad Dallas, who they will use for length, but John Schneider said they would also trust for 1 or 2 innings. They feel like his stuff could do that if they need it.
He mentioned his demeanor too, something that he likes.
Ernie Clement with a hit and a fly out to center field today. Faces a 1-2 pitch from J.P. Sears. No, it's a throw to first.
It's another kind of intriguing swing for me from Ernie, because we know that he wants to pull the ball. He wants to get his barrel out in front of him, drive the ball to left field. But when you have that giant hole on the right side of the infield, I feel like at times it almost looks like he's trying to inside out some of these inside pitches and drive them the opposite way.
He'll hit this pitch to right center field, and it's down in the gap. Straw zooming around second and into third as Clement does go the other way for a base hit.
This time he gets a pitch that's just a little bit easier to hit to right field than that fastball up and in. It's a slider that's down and away, and he does a really nice job of getting barrel underneath this slider, drives it out into the gap, and good base running too by Miles Straw, immediately taking off, reading that one that Jackson Merrill's not going to have a play on that ball, hustling all the way over to third base.
And for J.P. Sears, that will be his night. Craig Stammen, the former reliever for the Padres, going into his bullpen as the Blue Jays look to tie it up against Johnny Brito. Thank you for joining us tonight, and remember to join us as Sportsnet presents The Blue Jays Way Sunday after the game, delivered by Skip, the official on-demand delivery partner of the Toronto Blue Jays. Big opportunity for the Blue Jays. They'll do it against a new pitcher. Johnny Brito is in. He's only made 1 appearance in the big leagues this year. Those are his numbers with the Padres in 2024. Last season he was at the big league level. Comes in with first and third and only 1 out. And the first pitch is chopped by Guerrero. This could be trouble. It will be. It's a base hit on the infield to tie the game. They don't ask how, and for Vlad, that swinging bunt is going to work.
Gets a 95-mile-per-hour sinker, the first pitch that he sees from Johnny Brito. He's looking for it. He gets jammed up on this pitch, but you know what? It doesn't matter for the Blue Jays. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hustling out of that box, and Miles Straw is going to score easily on this infield base hit. You know what, Ben? That looks like a line drive in the books.
50 years from now, they'll never know. It's an RBI for Guerrero, his 38th of the year. Kazuma Okamoto probably happy to see the pitching change, even if it doesn't platoon as well for him. 2 strikeouts swinging against J.P. Sears.
Both of those strikeouts on changeups, too.
You will see a lot of changeups from Johnny Brito, about half the time.
Both to righties and to lefties. That last one, a slider at the top of the zone.
Fastball there, hit foul. Second year with the Padres, back from a flexor strain and UCL reconstruction surgery in his right elbow. That cost him all of 2025. Pop-up foul. Machado converging with Duran, and that's going to go into the Blue Jay dugout. His dugouts are not the largest in the big leagues either, so there'd be some late moves there. Dylan Cease and Machado catching up, a couple of former teammates.
Yeah, definitely not as long in those dugouts, I feel like, as we're used to seeing. We were kind of bobbing and weaving around a bunch of different people down in the dugout before the start of the game.
Okamoto lifts this one out to right field. Bowen going over, and it'll go out of play.
Okamoto just testing foul territory down the left field line, down the right field line. So far seeing a little bit of everything from Brito. Four-seamer, sweeper, sinker, slider. Haven't seen that changeup yet, though.
I was going to say, everything but that changeup. Brito, who's in his 3rd year overall because he also has some time with the Yankees, comes set, and with 2 on the pitch, inside. There it was, the changeup at 89, but a good take by Okamoto.
Comfortable take on that pitch, too. I know that pitch was well inside, but the first time that he's seen that changeup, especially after striking out on 2 changeups in the at-bats before.
Swing and a fly ball, left field, going back, Sheets, still tracking back. Sheets has run out of room. A 3-run homer for Kazuma Okamoto, and the Blue Jays jump in front 5-2.
Home run number 22 on the season for Kazuma Okamoto, and it gives the Blue Jays the lead here in the top of the 5th inning. He was fouling off pitch after pitch. Saw a changeup miss low and inside for a ball. Very next pitch, he is all over the sinker low and in. And you know what? It is the first appearance of the red home run jacket and the red home run dragon for the Blue Jays in this series.
First, if they hope, many, and Okamoto getting very familiar with both the jacket and the dragon as he hits his 22nd home run of the year, which is now tied for the most by a Japanese rookie in Major League history. Shohei Ohtani had 22 as a rookie in 2018. Okamoto as a rookie here in 2026 has 22. 4 or 5 days ago, the 2-0 first inning deficit might have been too much for the Blue Jays, but it doesn't feel like that right now. Springer doesn't love that call. Probably good reason for it. It's 1-2. Holds up on that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes as we admire Okamoto's blast again.
Gets a sinker low and inside. Watch his front foot too. He almost opens up with his step to give him a little bit more space to get that barrel out in front of him. You almost think that with the way that he steps towards the left side of the field that pitchers might want to throw him away just a little bit more. But when he hits the grand slam like he did the other day, Oppo, that's what makes pitchers start to throw that pitch back inside.
22 home runs for Okamoto, not only tying the Japanese rookie record, he is 2 away from the Blue Jays rookie record, and he's becoming one of the bigger home run hitters around baseball right now. He's tied now for top 10 in Major League Baseball in home runs.
And this is a 2-strike swing too. He almost hovers with that front foot just a split second, and that's his timing mechanism, whether he's going to get it down a little bit early for the fastballs, whether he's going to get it down just a hair later for some of those breaking balls. But it was a great at bat too, fouling off a bunch of different pitches, and oftentimes when you get a result like that, it can come after a really quality take, and him taking that changeup made all the difference. You watch that pitch go by, you get to see another one, and especially with the way that it missed so far off of the plate, Brito's trying to get something back into the zone, and he throws another one of those sinkers.
Alejandro Kirk fouls one back, 1-2. He was the fire starter tonight. He had the RBI double to get it going for the Blue Jays in the 4th. At the time made it 2-1 Padres. Now an infield RBI single by Guerrero and a 3-run homer from Okamoto have made it 5-2.
And both of these innings in which the Blue Jays have scored now in the 4th and the 5th, they've been able to get the leadoff runner on board. Vladdy started it off with a walk, bunt base hit for Straw, getting those timely swings to bring in those runs.
Great atmosphere here in San Diego. The Blue Jays have done something to put a dent in that, though, for sure. Murmur, bit of frustration in the crowd here in San Diego. As Kirk loops one out to shallow right center, and Tatis on familiar grass makes the grab. Blue Jays score 4 in the 5th. Okamoto's 3-run homer to help them to a 5-2 lead. Time now for an update. Here's Brad Fay. Think the demand on these just went up. Don't forget, on Monday, July 20th, the first 15,000 fans at the ballpark will take home a Kazuma Okamoto t-shirt. Secure your tickets at bluejays.com/promotions. If you're just joining us, Kazuma Okamoto just hit his 22nd home run of the season, a 3-run homer that turned a 2-2 game into a 5-2 game. We enter the bottom of the 5th, and the Blue Jays lead for the first time tonight. Shane Bieber, to his credit, after giving up 2 in the first, has settled in nicely. He's going 3rd time through the order as he misses low to Jackson Merrill. And who knows if the Blue Jays have that rally, if not for a different result, or not for the result he got to end the 4th when he struck out Tatis with 2 on. Now grounder foul, 1-1. There's been some traffic. There has been a hit in each inning for the Padres, but he's managed so far.
It's what he does after he gives up the hit, or even the walk that he gave up in the 4th. What happens in that very next at bat, and it's either been a double play or a strikeout, and that's how he's been able to get out of some of those jams after that first inning.
A walk to Merrill once and a ground out to short. And there's a foul tip on a changeup. 2-2. Or pardon me, a curveball there. pitch he's used a fair bit. Maybe one solution right now to not having his best slider is to go more to the curve. Blue Jays, though, are thinking about their next steps. They have a very rested bullpen after the Dylan Cease 8-inning outing and then a day off. Mason Fluharty warming up. And Bieber thought he had strike 3 right there. Pretty good pitch, but just a little bit outside.
Another one of those knuckle curveballs just missing off of the plate. You could tell Jackson Merrill was thinking about swinging.
Swings at this one and lifts it out to shallow left center. Clase ranges forward for the first out.
I feel like as this game's going on too for Shane Bieber, you're seeing him get ahead earlier in the count than what we saw back in the first inning. Even if he doesn't throw a first pitch strike, he's been coming back with a strike right after that. And at that point too, when you're able to locate a bunch of different pitches in the strike zone, when you get to 2 strikes, that's when you can start to expand.
First pitch strike with a changeup to get ahead of Bogart. 0-1. Maybe a little bit of help there from Alejandro Kirk's framing. Xander Bogaerts had the 2-run homer that got this ballpark jumping in the first inning. And the Padres have not scored since.
That home run he hit was on the 4-seam above the zone. We've already seen one 4-seamer thrown to Bogaerts in this at-bat, but it missed well off the plate inside. Imagine we'll see a lot of breaking balls and off-speeds.
He hits one to the left side to Okamoto. 2 outs.
I feel like that cutter has been a pretty effective pitch for him today, although that one was located more in the middle part of the zone. He's just taking enough off of it to where you can tell it's difficult for these Padres batters to pick up that pitch out of the hand, so they're getting it out in front and hitting it off the end of the bat.
Two outs and the pitch to Machado. Low ball 1. Bieber trying to get the Blue Jays back to the bats. This inning, perhaps even this batter, could be it for Bieber. Fastball velocity has dipped a little bit, and he's approaching 100 pitches.
Lefty and Sheets on deck too.
Yeah, in theory, if you're getting Fluharty up, Sheets is the only lefty until you get all the way back around to Merrill. Corbin already going past his season high in pitches of 92. Gets back in the count there with a fastball, 93 miles an hour. So there's the velocity again, 3-1.
He heard you talking about the dip in velocity, decided to bring that one back in there.
Might not have began the way he wanted it to, but a chance here with one good pitch to put together a pretty solid start. The 3-2. And it's lifted out to right, and it will find that space in between Clement and Straw. Looper of a base hit for Machado, who goes to 2 for 3.
After falling behind 3-0 in that count with the power that Machado has on the season, I know that his batting average isn't up above 200, but you know that he can leave the yard at any point. You're going to take him just blooping this ball out into right field rather than that ball being sent out of the yard.
Maybe double frustration for Bieber, because you know now that that's going to cost you the chance at 5 innings. He'll leave with the Blue Jays in front, though, after falling behind early, and maybe some more confidence to what he can do going forward. Blue Jays going to Mason Fluharty here, looking to maintain their 5-2 lead. watching Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays baseball presented by McCain. Blue Jays up 5-2. Shane Bieber's night done through 4 2/3. He allowed 6 hits, leaves with Manny Machado on first and Mason Fluharty in to go left on left with Gavin Sheets.
Mason Fluharty making an appearance in each of the last 2 series for the Blue Jays, through 1 inning against Seattle, through 1 inning against San Francisco, and here he is coming in the 5th inning with 2 outs against the Padres, going up against Gavin Sheets, who is batting under 200 against lefties so far this season. Going to try to use that breaking ball, see if he can get Sheets to swing and miss.
Sheets looking to bunt, and he'll bunt it foul. Saw the third baseman Okamoto back, and Okamoto's going to let him try it again for the most part. He's going to stay back and stay in that shift in between second and third. Thought maybe the Padres would go to a pinch hitter. You got someone on the bench like Luis Camposano. You could move some people around, but it is a little bit early perhaps to remove one of your top hitters in Gavin Sheets. And Fluharty looking to take advantage of this matchup with the sweeper getting ahead 1-2.
I don't know if I saw the 2-out bunt coming, though. I mean, I get it with the way that the defense was positioned, but with Sheets in his power, was not expecting him to try to drop one down.
Fluharty pitched on the 7th and threw a scoreless inning with a strikeout. It's his 49th appearance. And he strikes him out. Got him on a cutter on the inner half, and Mason Fluharty has helped the Blue Jays keep their 5-2 lead into the 6th. Sign up to become a Rogers customer and watch for Canada's winning inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win exclusive 50th season prizes. Visit Rogers.com today. 6th inning at Petco Park. Dalton Varsho leading off for the Blue Jays. I think I can confidently say the only Major League Baseball park with a dog run incorporated, Petco Park, as Varsho takes outside ball 1.
It's out there beyond center field, right?
Yes.
We were learning a little bit more about the stadium and the ballpark, and of course the dogs. We tuned in for that.
1-0 pitch is hit high in the air by Varsho, deep right center, making his way over Bowen to retire him, and there's 1 out.
Much better looking swing there from Dalton Varsho than what we've seen from him recently. We talked about how he's been rolling over quite a bit. That time he got a sinker low and inside, got barrel underneath it, just a little bit too far underneath. Still hit that one off of the bat though, 98 miles an hour.
What do you have to do as a hitter to get more under as opposed to rolling on top of it?
You know, it's kind of interesting because I feel like the adjustment that we've heard from Varsho even over the past couple of seasons is him being able to get on top of that 4-seam fastball, because that's where a lot of pitchers were throwing him, right at the top.
Luis Urias sends one out to the left, and there are 2 down.
It's always interesting as a hitter too, when you think you're making an adjustment, you almost have to over-exaggerate that adjustment, because when you watch it on film, you might not actually be dropping your barrel all that much to try to make the adjustment, but what it feels like, because you're so used to the routine of your swing, it feels like this really drastic change. So to me, if you're Varsho, when you're on time for pitches, when you're out in front, that's when you're going to see people roll over quite a bit, but almost dropping that barrel what feels like behind you to get barrel underneath some of those balls.
Miles Straw likely to take that pitch anyway. Couple outs and 3 pitches, and now Chad Dallas is getting loose. Miles Straw got under one for a deep flyout in the 3rd. Then he bunted on top of one for a base hit that started their 4-run rally in the 5th. His 9th career bunt hit was a big one. This Blue Jays turned a 2-0 Padres lead into, or 2-1 Padres lead at the time, into a 5-2 Blue Jay lead. See if Straw wants to offer here against Brito. Doesn't look like he was going to. It's 3-1.
Taken all the way on that pitch is that 3-0 sinker, just barely clipped the inside part of the plate.
And he'll shoot this one out to right center for a base hit, his second of the night.
Another nice piece of hitting by Miles Straw in this ball game. Had that deep fly ball out to center field in his first at bat, the bunt base hit that you mentioned. He just threw his hands at this sinker pretty much right down the middle to hit the ball out to center field for a 2-out base hit.
Jonathan Clase gets to bat from the left side for the first time tonight. And he went around on that pitch. It's 0-1. Change of pace there with a changeup from Brito. About 6 miles an hour, softer than the last fastball he threw.
I was just thinking too how Brito really hasn't thrown a ton of those changeups to the Blue Jays. In his last appearance, he ended up throwing 8 changeups in an inning and 2/3.
This one barreled up by Clase toward right center, but moving forward is Bowen to make the grab. Blue Jays get a 2-out hit from Straw and continue to lead 5-2. Tough act to follow after Dylan Cease nearly no-hit the Giants on Wednesday, but Shane Bieber solid in this start, especially when you remember, Madison, that he gave up a home run 3 batters in and then did not give up a run after that.
If you're being picky too when you look at these numbers, of course the walks are something that stands out, and you would have loved to see a little bit more length out of Shane Bieber, but to your point, the way that this game started, I feel like he kept getting better as the innings were going on and gave this offense and this team a chance to win the ball game, which ultimately is what the starting pitcher's job is to do. And now Chad Dallas coming into the ball game.
Second major league appearance for Chad Dallas, who debuted quite impressively in Atlanta over a month ago, June 4th at the Braves, through 3 2/3 and allowed only 1 run. Check swing on a breaking ball. He did go, says Adam Hammery.
Going to see a lot of those breaking balls from Dallas, those sweepers to the right-handed batters, the curveballs to the left-handed batters to go along with that cutter. Really trying to get batters to swing and chase at those pitches out of the zone.
He is in tough here with an 8-year veteran of the major leagues in Ty France. Picked up with Louis Varland from Minnesota at the deadline by the Blue Jays for Alan Roden and Kendry Rojas last year. Curve down and away. Dallas has got the signal. And France hits it fair down the right field line into the corner. Chasing after it, Straw. France going for second, and he'll get in there with a stand-up double. 9th double of the year for Ty France, his 21st extra base hit.
2-strike swing for Ty France too. He got a lot of those sweepers that were diving down and away. This time it's a cutter up and outside, a pretty well located pitch, maybe a little bit too high up in the zone. You probably want that just a little bit lower, but it's a nice swing by Ty France, just driving this ball straight down the right field line, and because he can see it as he's running down to first base, does not hesitate as he heads into second.
And Duhar did not go on that first pitch, says Adam Hammery. Looked pretty close. For the Padres, their first extra base hit since the Bogarts 2-run homer. And this one lifted right center. Straw's got a good beat on it. France back to tag at second. France is trying to advance. Here's the throw from Straw, and it's a little offline. So Ty France on a fairly deep flyout will advance to third.
The throw from Miles Straw looked like it was a pretty good one too out of the hand, but just a bit too deep out there in right field for him to get Ty France over at third base. France immediately tagging up here, gets back to the base, has his eyes on it the entire time. Good jump off of second base too. Okamoto set up on the left field side of the base, has to cross over on the other side of third, but I think France was going to be safe anyway on that throw.
Padres didn't go to a pinch hitter last inning, but they will right now. Pete Walker out there because veteran and longtime Angel Luis Rengifo is going to bat for Jace Bowen. Rengifo's a switch hitter, so he'll bat lefty against the righty pitcher Dallas, unlike Bowen, who would have hit righty. Rengifo only selected to this roster on July 8th when Samad Taylor, former Blue Jay prospect, went on the injured list. Guy who started his year with the Brewers but was released and then picked up in mid-June by Milwaukee on a minor league deal. Or pardon me, by San Diego. It's the first pitch back with the infield in everywhere except at third base. Or infield back, pardon me, everywhere except at third base.
Ernie Clement kind of playing right up the middle too, shaded towards the pull side, with Rengifo hitting from the left side.
0-1 pitch. Did he go on that pitch in the dirt? He did, on a pitch well in front of the plate.
Nice job by Alejandro Kirk too to keep that ball in front of him with Ty France over at third base. You know that as soon as that ball skips away far enough, he's going to look to score. You could see this ball bounced in front of home plate. Kind of surprised it was called a swing on that too, but still a really nice job by Kirk keeping that one in front.
0-2. Went right back down there. This time Rengifo lays off. They want the strikeout here with a runner on third and one out. But with the infield alignment, they're willing to trade an out for a run.
Two-strike count here to Rengifo. Almost got him in chase mode at some of these curveballs that are nowhere near the zone. But some good late life on that pitch, and Rengifo's just trying to do whatever he can to see if he can score this run over at third.
Swing and a miss. He got him on a fastball for the big second out here in the bottom of the sixth.
Getting the swing and miss on this four-seam fastball is a product of almost slowing Rengifo down with all of those curveballs. Ended up throwing 3 curveballs in a row before he comes back with the four-seamer late on the swing, and a huge strikeout right there for Chad Dallas.
Jeff Hoffman is starting to warm up. Chad Dallas looking to get out of this 6th inning after giving up the leadoff double to France. And now another pinch hitter, Luis Campusano, is batting. Regular catcher right now for the Padres with Freddie Fermin injured. Campusano getting the day off, or partial day off today. Let's see how impressive he's been in limited action this year. And he'll lift this ball, foul. Guerrero onto the side warning track, and he makes the grab. Chad Dallas with a big bounce back after the leadoff double, and the Blue Jays keep their 3-run lead. We go to the 7th at Petco Park. It's 5-2. Fans don't bonus, the game's top sluggers go at it in the annual Home Run Derby. Monday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Then on Tuesday, it's the All-Star Game itself, featuring Ernie Clement, among others. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet.
Going to be quite a few Blue Jays at the All-Star Game in Philly.
Dylan Cease, we expect to be there, as well as Johnny Brito in the third inning. Starts him off with a strike. And Cease, as mentioned today by Ben Nicholson-Smith on Blue Jay Central, feeling pretty good after throwing a career-high 118 pitches. He's feeling better than usual right now.
He did kind of joke that he's kind of waiting for the soreness to set in at some point. But for right now, feeling very good.
Couple of switches for the Padres after last inning. They hit Rengifo for Bowen and Campusano for Duran. Tatis goes from second to right, Rengifo into second, Campusano in a straight swap with Duran at catcher. Now Clement will sky one out to left field. Gavin Sheets moving over, and he makes the catch just in front of the fans. There's one out.
Saw a few more of those changeups that we were talking about with Johnny Brito, how we hadn't seen a lot of them so far in this outing, but threw back-to-back changeups there to Ernie to get him to fly out down the left field line.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 1 for 2, a walk, an RBI, and 2 runs scored, even if he hasn't hit a ball out of the infield tonight.
I don't know about you, Ben, but this feels like one of those at-bats for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. where you've got a 3-run lead, top of the 7th, really sell out to a certain pitch that you want to go after in this at-bat. Whether it's the changeup, whether it's one of those sinkers, that time he got a slider that's over there off of the plate. Just feel like this was one of those moments where it feels like the batter's kind of more in control than the pitcher is. I know pitchers out there don't want to hear that, but as batters, we want to feel like when we step into the batter's box, we're going to win that at bat before you even throw a pitch.
Now in protect mode with 2 strikes, he hits a changeup off of his foot. Still 1-2.
Yes, completely different mindset when you get into that 2-strike mode. You don't want to necessarily sit pitches with 2 strikes because ultimately that doesn't end up working in the hitter's favor.
One, 2 again. And he struck him out on a sweeper. Second strikeout for Brito and 2 outs. Difference in this game is 1 swing. It came last time Kazuma Okamoto stepped up to the plate in the 5th, a 3-run homer.
2-strike swing on this pitch, too low and inside. And that's exactly the power alley for Kazuma Okamoto. 22nd home run on the season. Proudly displaying the dragon over there in the dugout.
Checks his swing on a pitch called a strike. He had struck out in both his at-bats before that, and at times it has been like that this year. There have been ups and downs, but as the year goes on, more and more ups, it feels like, for Okamoto, who's really settling in.
And when we were talking about earlier how Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has seen so many different pitchers so far in his career, sometimes that can work to your advantage when you're a hitter and you're facing a starting pitcher that you just can't seem to get a read on. Those back-to-back strikeouts for Okamoto, then you see a new pitcher and all of a sudden it's a completely different ball game.
Fights off that pitch. protecting with 2 strikes to keep this inning going. That was well outside on a sweeper.
That's got to be one of those pitches. If you're Johnny Brito, you're thinking, how did you even get any sort of your bat to that sweeper outside, especially with him stepping towards the left side of the field.
On Okamoto's power, tied now with St. Louis Cardinal Jordan Walker for the 10th most homers in baseball, and just outside the 10th most RBIs. His 22 homers, 10th most. His 62 RBIs tied for 11th most with Pete Alonso. And he has stayed patient here and fought off enough to get to a full count. On the edge of the 7th inning stretch, Okamoto trying to add to this 5-2 Blue Jay lead. And he'll take down an away ball 4. That's a heck of a plate appearance for the Blue Jay third baseman.
Especially after falling behind 0-2 in this at bat. Those couple of takes, I know we've talked a lot about the takes, but I feel like that could really give you a good indication of how a batter's feeling in the batter's box. One, how confidently they take certain pitches, and still knowing that when you get into a 2-strike count, the strike zone still exists. You don't have to chase at these pitches well off the plate, and running up that pitch count too for Brito.
Luis Campusano out there to talk with Brito, who's making just his 2nd appearance of the season, and there is former Yankee Ron Marinaccio. George Springer to hit. He grounded a ball through the right side in the 4th. Struck out his last time up. He looked like he was selling out right there on that first pitch slider.
Yeah, that slider down and way ended up striking out on a changeup in his last at bat. He did see one slider in the first at bat he had off of Brito.
Still looking for his first major league stolen base, Cosmo Okamoto. His defense, he has not attempted one yet.
Brito keeping him honest over there at first base.
The wave going around in San Diego, a miss inside.
George just falling all the way down on that swing. It's another slider on the outer half. Now this conversation's going all the way back to spring training, but I was asking him about his swing, and especially when he's fallen down after some of those swings. He said he likes it when he does that because that means that his legs are engaged on his swing.
Swings and lifts the ball to center, racing forward. Merrill gets there and ends the top of the 7th. Blue Jays take their 5-2 lead to the bottom half after the 7th inning stretch in San Diego. This summer, Sundays are best spent at the ballpark. On July 19th, set your alarm early and join the Blue Jays for a 12:15 first pitch. It's Junior Jays Sundays, presented by Ontario Honda Dealers. Outdoor programming runs from 10 a.m. to first pitch. Visit BlueJays.com/promotions for tickets. Blue Jays with the Alejandro Kirk double in the 4th to start the scoring before a Vlad Guerrero Jr. RBI single and a Cosmo Okamoto 3-run homer in the 5th have given them the lead. They'll now go to Jeff Hoffman for the 7th inning, and he'll face the top of the order. First pitch is lined out to left, and Clase has great speed. One pitch, one out as Tatis goes to 0 for 4.
First pitch breaking ball out of the hand of Jeff Hoffman, and Tatis was way out in front, hit that one for out number 1, out to left. And Jeff has been throwing really well recently, even going back to June, and has carried that over into July. Just gave up 1 earned run in the entire month of June. Has not given up an earned run so far in July.
His pitch to Jackson Merrill is a fastball with zip at 96 for strike 1. Last time the Blue Jays used Hoffman was for the top of the Giants order on the 7th. He faced 2 batters, struck out Elliot Ramos, and got a flyout from Luis Arias. There's the splitter, although he has been far more slider heavy on this really solid run.
Still some great movement on that splitter too. Little arm side run, diving down.
There's another splitter, and Merrill has hurt himself fouling it off of his own ankle, but manages to stay on his feet. 1-2.
It's one of those pitches too where not only is Merrill out in front, but that pitch diving down, that's where you're going to get that topspin. And unfortunately for Merrill, it goes straight into the top of his foot. Ooh, even the ankle there. Has that guard on the left shin ankle area, but it always seems like those foul balls find a way to miss the guards that they have.
One-two pitch. Slider hit back foul. Couple of options here for Craig Stammen. A couple of former Yankees, Ron Marinaccio and Wandy Peralta. Fastball lifted foul to the left. Was talking with Jeff Hoffman a couple weeks back about the slider usage ticking up. I mean, it's by far become his lead pitch after it wasn't his most used pitch last year. And he said it was one of the things when he looked back to his time in Philadelphia. What was he doing then that maybe he had not been doing as much as a Blue Jay? And one of them, he said, an easy change to make is he was just throwing a lot more sliders in Philly. He was an all-star and big part of their pens on runs to the postseason. So he said, may as well start throwing a couple more sliders here. That time a splitter is going to get a pop-up. Kirk racing after it, so is Okamoto, and Kirk gets there. A long run to make the play for the catcher, and there are 2 down.
What a catch by Alejandro Kirk with the way that this foul ball hung up in the air for so long, and you know it's got some of that backspin on it too, so it's going to continue to carry away from Kirk as he's running down into foul territory. You can see him running, looking at the dugout, looking back up at the ball, looking down at the dugout, goes back up to the ball at the last minute, makes the basket catch. That is not an easy catch for him to make.
Often the third baseman's play, but Okamoto was way off the line against the lefty hitter. 2 outs and his slider to Bogaerts misses down and away.
Going back to your point about Hoffman adding in more of those sliders too, I feel like from the decision-making standpoint of the batters, adding in a pitch that is not just a different speed, but moving in a different direction than anything else, complicates things for the batters as far as what they want to go after. Before, if you're pretty much fastball splitter heavy, you can kind of sit one and decide to go after it, but you add in that slider, especially when he's able to throw it down and outside to those right-handed batters for strikes, then you really have to think about what you want to go after.
Couple of sliders, but he couldn't find the mark against Bogaerts, so he'll go to the fastball. Got a foul off and make it 2-1. Fastball again, well located down there. And one good pitch away from getting through this 7th. Check swing, did he go? He did, and Hoffman strikes out Bogaerts to finish the 7th. Blue Jays up on the Padres 5-2. Let's now go over to Brad Fay and former Blue Jay and Padre, Kevin Barker. Don't miss the premiere episode of The Blue Jays Way, a 7-part original series exploring the moments, memories, and milestones that shaped the franchise. Part 1, Founding Feathers, takes you back to the team's first season in 1977. Watch it Sunday after the game on Sportsnet. Blue Jays against the San Diego Padres tonight in game 1 of this series. They're up 5-2. Okamoto's 3-run shot in the 5th is the difference. And now the Blue Jays will face a different pitcher. Third arm for the Padres used today, longtime Yankee and longtime big leaguer, lefty reliever Wandy Peralta.
We saw both Peralta and Marinaccio getting loose out in that bullpen, so Craig Stammen decides to bring in the lefty in Peralta. Going to see a lot of those sinkers, changeups, occasional slider and four-seamer from Peralta.
11th season for the 34-year-old from the Dominican Republic. Kirk lifts the ball to right. And Tatis with a late adjustment will make the grab. Couldn't tell if he was bouncing around or couldn't see it. Either way, he makes the catch. No harm, no foul.
Kind of had to track that one down at the last minute. Taking a look at the Blue Jays bullpen, Tyler Rogers up and getting loose.
Who's the only reliever to go for them in their last game. Although that was 2 days ago now on Wednesday.
Saw that swing from Varsho in his last at bat where he hit the fly ball over into the right center gap. Let's see if he can kind of build off of that swing. A little bit more challenging now for him with the lefty-lefty matchup. Really have to focus on staying on that baseball.
It's jammed on his slider inside, 1-1. Peralta's really tough, although he did recently have his worst outing of the year. 4 earned runs on 6 hits in an inning on July 2nd at Dodger Stadium. But at the same time, he gave up 4 runs in an inning, and he still got an ERA below 3 as a reliever. That's how dominant he was before that time.
Well, and he's had to be used quite a bit so far this year. This is his 41st appearance for the Padres this season, which is 11th in the National League. We talk about some of the similarities as far as how the season has gone for both the Padres and the Blue Jays. The Padres have had a ton of injuries, and they haven't been able to get the length in their starting pitching, so their bullpen has been very taxed throughout the season.
And when you don't score a ton, your high leverage guys are coming in all the time. Craig Stammen knows what it's like. He was a reliever in San Diego for a long time, and not that long ago, frankly, was he a reliever for the Padres. Only 2022. The last time you would have seen him play for this club that he now manages in his first season. Although he's probably not feeling bad for many guys. He threw 76 times in 2019, 73 times in 2018, 67 times in 2021, over 88 innings that year. So he knows what it's like.
He was asked a bit about this series and this team moving into the All-Star break, and he talked about how they're a team that's wanting to pick up some of that momentum heading into the All-Star break, knowing that this is a big series.
If you're the Padres, a game below 500, if you can just win this series, even if it's 2-1, maybe you say, all right, clean slate, we're 500 coming out of the break. I mean, it's not where you want to be, especially in a National League that's tougher than the American League, but you probably don't feel terrible about that.
Ended up splitting the series with the Diamondbacks right before this too.
Here's Varsho on the ground to first, and Ty France will take it himself.
Stream every pitch on Canada's best and most reliable 5G Plus network. Visit Rogers.com today to get connected.
Luis Urias will hit now with 2 outs and the base is empty. Urias 0 for 3 today. Line out, ground out, and fly out. Another one of the Blue Jays players getting to play very close to his home country, about 25 minutes, 30 minutes away from the border of Mexico. Just looking this up with statistician Justin Beaudry before the game, and as far as both of us could tell, this year is the first year in Blue Jays history where they have at any time had 3 different players from Mexico appear for them in the same game, between Urias, Kirk, and Valenzuela. Urias pops one up right side, and Rengifo there to put him away. Blue Jays down in order in the top of the 8th, but still leading 5-2 at Petco Park. Following the All-Star break, baseball returns to Rogers Center on July 17th for City Connect Friday. The Blue Jays will hit the field in their City Connect uniforms as the ballpark transforms into night mode. Visit BlueJays.com/tickets to secure your seats now. Blue Jays taking their 5-2 lead into the bottom of the 8th inning here at Petco Park. Sellout crowd of almost 42,000 on hand, but the Blue Jays have kept them quiet for the last while and look to continue doing that with Tyler Rogers on the hill, who's pitched here a lot given his history as a San Francisco Giant.
You mentioned his last appearance too, which was back on Wednesday. It might have been, now didn't get a chance to ask him this, but I'm just going to assume this. It might have been the only game that he was hoping he did not have to come into the game because Dylan Cease took that no-hit bid into the 9th inning. And
one of the rare times you'll ever use Tyler Rogers up 10-0, but you have a day off coming up. He's back in the place where he played for so long, so you give him that opportunity. Andres Jimenez is subbed in for Urias after he had popped out to end the top half of the 8th. Clement bumps to second, and the first pitch hit on the ground to third. Exactly how Tyler Rogers wants to start his inning as Manny Machado goes down.
When you're facing somebody like Tyler Rogers, of course, you think about that arm angle, but you also note that he doesn't walk a lot of batters. So it puts people into swing mode, and they swing at the first pitch they see because oftentimes that might be the best pitch that they see. With that arm angle and the velocity, gets Manny Machado out in front for the ground ball to the left side.
Gavin Sheets will take a slider for a strike. Padres got 2 in the first. They have not scored since, despite having at least 1 hit in every inning. From the slider to the sinker for Rogers. He's ahead 0-2. And it's on the ground to third again. Okamoto will charge this one. Took a bit of a funky hop there. And Vladdy recognizing that and the good throw. 2 down.
Thinking back to the beginning of the game, too, it felt like the Padres were putting a lot of balls in play hard. You saw a lot of balls off of the bat, even some of the ground ball double plays coming off of the bat over 100 miles per hour. And it just feels like as this game has gone on, no matter who's been out there on the mound, even Shane Bieber as he got a little bit later into the game, seeing a lot more weak contact from the Padres.
Ty France hit a double in the 6th to lead off that inning, but was left on third base. He'll hit one away foul, 0-1. John Schneider called France a professional hitter that they had admired, or he had admired rather, for a long time before bringing him in to the Blue Jays organization last year. Talked about remembering seeing France at A-ball when Schneider was third base coach for the Lansing Lugnuts, and France was playing for the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, affiliate of the Padres.
said he's got a lot of confidence, and he's somebody that really understands his role on these teams.
Another one to Okamoto. And that's 3 groundouts to third in a 1-2-3 inning. Very Tyler Rogers-y as we go to the 9th with the Blue Jays up 5-2. Blue Jays fans have won over $10 million through 50-50 this season, and you could be next. Don't miss the jackpot of the summer from Jays Care. You can also win trips to Hawaii, Italy, Switzerland, and more starting next weekend. Visit BlueJays.com/5050 to get tickets now from participating provinces. On to the 9th we go, a game that did not start the Blue Jays' way, but could end their way if they can collect 3 more outs. Before they get there, though, they're going to go and try and add to their lead against another former Yankee reliever in Ron Marinaccio, who enters for his 31st outing of the year.
Marinaccio made 2 appearances in that series against the Diamondbacks. He ended up giving up a couple of earned runs in his last appearance, including a home run on a 4-seam fastball to Tommy Troy. You're going to see a lot of those 4-seamers, both to the righties and to the lefties. Will throw that changeup more to the lefties, and then likes to use that cutter to the righties to get them out in front.
Miles Straw to lead it off. He was the kick-starter to that 4-run inning, and he'll lift a ball toward the gap left center, and caught on the run by Gavin Sheets. Big play to start the inning.
Off of the bat, I thought that was going to be a double in the gap all the way for Miles Straw, but a nice job by Gavin Sheets out in left field, having to travel a long way for this one. Reading it well off of the bat, too. Has his eyes on it the entire time, makes that grab. Makes it look pretty easy, too. He had a nice play in last night's game against the Diamondbacks where he was diving towards the left field line to rob a hit from Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Speaking of current or former Blue Jays corner outfielders, there's going to be a pinch hitter into the game as Nathan Lucas is on to bat for Jonathan Clase. Bit of a double substitution. He had to bring in Lucas's bat. Here, a lefty hitter, but also you probably were going to bring him into the game defensively to slide into right field and bump Straw to left in the bottom of the 9th. And you do that because you also are getting this guy ready. Probably the 2 best closers in baseball this year are in the same building tonight, and the Blue Jays are happy theirs. Here's the one heating up right now. One-0 to Lucas. He'll take outside. He started to get it going a little bit again after a mini skid. By the end of that Giants series, put together a couple nice games in a row. Had 2 hits and a walk on Wednesday and a hit and 2 walks on Tuesday.
Pretty good hack right there from Lucas, too, on that cutter more towards the top of the zone. Another example of getting into that hitter's count, those high leverage hitter's counts where you can be a bit more aggressive on what the pitcher's going to throw.
Pretty good rip again. 4-seamer sent foul, 2-2. Three seasons with the Yankees for Marinaccio. Now each of the last 2 as a Padre. And he gets Lucas to pop up. Bogart's after it. 2 outs. Blue Jays trying to add to their lead, but if not, Louis Varland is ready, as we showed you a moment ago. Clement swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Marinaccio was going after it, but Camposano will get in the way and make the grab to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The Blue Jays up 5-2, and they'll turn it over to Louis Varland when we come back. Coming up tomorrow, Trey Savage and Walker Buehler face off. Two guys with a couple pretty good playoff resumes will battle with Blue Jays Central going at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Sportsnet. The Blue Jays hoping that tomorrow's game is an opportunity for them to take the series, but for that to be the case, they need 3 more big outs here going to the bottom of the 9th in beautiful San Diego. The Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead, and Louis Varland on the mound.
Bringing on Louis Varland, who has been so good for the Blue Jays all season long. You've seen that consistency, you've seen that velocity, and you have seen that intensity even before he runs out of the bullpen. Getting that slap on the back before he runs out there gets him fired up, and a couple of defensive changes for the Blue Jays as well. Nathan Lucas playing right field, and Miles Straw moves from right over to left field.
That is all with Jonathan Clase out of the game. Jake Cronenworth is in to bat for Miguel Andujar. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. And even in a ballpark where they're used to seeing Mason Miller's 0.96 ERA go up on the board, Louis Varland's 0.94 is very impressive. Cronenworth grounds one foul, and Varland quickly ahead. Non-save situation. He pitched on the 7th as part of the Blue Jays 9-3 win. Punched out a batter in a scoreless bottom of the 9th. And now he punches out Cronenworth. 1 down. Wipeout knuckle curve from Varland.
Starts him off with back-to-back strikes, the four-seam fastball, the changeup, and then the first look at the knuckle curve for Cronenworth. And this one is 89 miles per hour, pretty much diving straight down into the dirt. Cronenworth way on top and way out in front for strikeout number 1 tonight for Louis Varland.
1 out, and here is Luis Rengifo. Curveball foul tipped. Blue Jays trying to turn their back-to-back wins in San Francisco into a win streak. John Schneider saying today it is amazing how things can change so quickly after night 1. His discussions publicly with the media talking about the frustration with the team. And now Louis Varland is pitching here as the Blue Jays try to secure a 3rd win in a row.
Well, of course, it's been a great 3 games in a row after that first game, that first loss to San Francisco, where really everything went wrong for the Blue Jays, it felt like. Been able to get everything back on track. And even today, too, maybe didn't have as much offense as we've seen in the last 2 games between those 19 combined runs in those 2 games, but you're still seeing a team fight their way from behind, battle back, kind of grind through some at-bats, whether it's dropping down a bunt, taking the walk, and of course, the big swing from Okamoto.
2-2 pitch. Fastball high and outside, ball 3. Center field. Straw racing back, and he's there in time. 2 down.
Full count changeup out of the hand of Louis Varland, and Miles Straw making this one look easy. We just mentioned how he just changed from right field over to left field, gets a really good read on that one off of the bat, ends up backpedaling towards the wall to secure out number 2.
Got a Gold Glover in left, a Gold Glover in center, and the leader in outfield assists for the Blue Jays last year in right. 2 down. Luis Camposano, the last hope for the Padres, and he'll hit one deep down the right field line. Foul. 0-1. Blue Jays trailed 2-0 early and did not lead until the 5th. 0-1. Outside, but at 100 miles an hour. Check swing, did he go? He did not, says Adam Hammery. Curveball's been big in this inning for Louis Varland. Of course, big for him much of the year as well.
Been able to throw them both for strikes and bury them down into the dirt in this inning.
Kirk is going to use an ABS challenge. I mean, you got one left. It's the bottom of the 9th inning.
Might as well use it.
And he will use it to good effect. It's 2-2.
Just clipped that up and in corner on that changeup. Great call by Alejandro Kirk back behind the plate.
Blue Jays still have one challenge left. The Padres have two. 2-2 pitch. Little twitch, but he couldn't get Campusano to chase. Full count, 2 outs. And it's lined up the middle to keep this game going. And there is right now a chance still for the Padres here, as Campusano not only extends the 9th, but flips the lineup over too.
And that ball was absolutely tattooed off of the bat of Campusano. 105 off of the bat, straight out to center field. Got a fastball up and inside, and he was on time for it.
Fernando Tatis Jr. hitless in this game. Checks his swing and a curve.
Swung at the first pitch in his last at bat off of Jeff Hoffman, who had just come into the game. Got a slider that he hit for a line drive out to left field.
"17 pitches for Varland, 9 strikes. And this one is hit to right field. Campusano into scoring position, and the tying run will come to the plate.
Fernando Tatis Jr. ready to swing in this 2-0 count, knowing Louis Varland's going to try to get back into the count. He's going to try to throw one of those 4-seam fastballs, and this is a 99-mile-per-hour pitch on the outer half. And Fernando Tatis Jr. doesn't try to pull it out of the ballpark to the left side, but just takes what Varland is giving him, drives it out to right field, and extends this inning.
Alejandro Kirk in discussion with Varland before Jackson Merrill comes up. 10 home runs on the year, 37 driven in for Merrill, who is the tying run. Those who have remained here at Petco Park energized again. Best chance for the Padres in a while, at least since the France leadoff double in the 6th. First pitch lined and down for a base hit. Coming around third and in to score Campusano. Back to second goes Tatis. It's 5-3, and now the winning run will come to the plate.
Just feels like the last 3 swings, the Padres feel like they're 1 pitch ahead of what Louis Varland is throwing. Fernando Tatis Jr. was ready for that 4-seamer, blasted out to right field. This time, Jackson Merrill ready for the knuckle curve first pitch. It drives it the opposite way. We were just talking about, Ben, how Louis Varland's been able to throw that knuckle curve both for strikes and bury them down in the dirt. He tries to get that one past him for a strike, and instead, he smokes it out to left field.
So the guy who started the scoring for the Padres in the first will have an opportunity to end this game, good or bad. Xander Bogaerts up to the plate. Merrill with speed on first as the tying run, and the first pitch is ball 1. Pitch. Fastball called a strike, and Bogaerts immediately there to challenge. And that just barely missed.
A tenth of an inch, a tenth of an inch. There have been a couple of calls tonight that have gone the Blue Jays' way because of the way that Kirk's able to frame that bottom half of the zone. Smart challenge by Bogaerts.
Winning run at the plate. And a changeup for a strike. What a weapon that has become. He can go to it with the game on the line in a 2-0 count.
And that location as well, pretty much in the exact same location as the pitch before, just that time was the changeup.
Swing and a miss at the curve. It's 2-2. And for the first time since Campusano's single, the Padres are down to their last strike. Series opener in San Diego, the 2-2 is tapped foul on a check swing. Just got a piece of the change. Two again. Low ball 3. That'll activate both runners. Full count and 2 outs means Tatis and Merrill off on the pitch. On the ground at third, backing up Okamoto, and the Blue Jays hold on. They come back early and hold on late to win it 5-3, winning 3 in a row for only the second time since the start of June.
Ben, this just feels like a really good win for the Blue Jays. Yes, of course, you love to see those 19 combined runs scored in their previous 2 games, but to be able to battle back from falling behind early in the game, getting some clutch, timely hitting, laying down a bunt, drawing a walk, and then battling through some adversity there for Louis Barlin to come away with the win. But no swings better in this ball game than the 22nd home run of the season for Kazuma Okamoto.
That ended up being the difference as the Blue Jays take the opener 5-3. We'll be back tomorrow, Blue Jays Central at 8 Eastern. But for now, stick around for Sportsnet Central presented by KFC with Ailish and Jesse.
The Blue Jays ahead with a 3-run shot in the 5th inning. And Kaz, you're seeing a lot of off speed and a lot of breaking balls in this game. And you finally got a fastball that you could pull. Just how important is discipline and patience when you're being approached like this?
今日変化球で結構攻められたと思うんですけど、ようやくストレートが来て、それを引っ張ることができたと思うんですけど、それをホームラン打ってどうでしたかと。
うまく、捉えることができてよかったと思いますし、その前の2打席三振してたので、なんとか、後ろにいいバッターがいるので、つなごうと思ってます。
Yeah, obviously I was somehow able to put good wood on it after seeing a lot of breaking balls, but after striking out the first 2 at-bats, I just wanted to, put a good swing on a pitch and then, just pass the baton to the guys behind me.
That was your 22nd home run of the season, ties you with Shohei Ohtani for the most by a Japanese-born player in their rookie season. How meaningful is it to you to have a share of that record with a guy like Shohei?
メジャーで、日本人新人最多記録として、22号ホームラン22号大谷翔平選手と並ぶんだと思うんですけど、それ聞いていかがでしょうかと。
いやいや、まだまだ本当に、残り試合もありますし、本当に1試合1試合しっかり準備して、毎試合やっていきたいなと思います。
Yeah, obviously sounds great, but we still have lots of season to go, and I just want to do my best to prepare and help this team win.
And finally, you guys have some real momentum over the last 3 games. We're seeing a lot of home runs from this lineup. What do you think you guys have to do to keep it going into the All-Star break?
ここ最近3試合、ホームランも打ってますし、ヒットの数も結構あると思うんですけど、それ見てどうですか？
誰がですか？
チームとしてどうですかと。
本当につながりがあって、その中で、みんながねこう自分の役割というかそういうのを でいいゲームになってると思います。
Yeah, I think all we could do is like put up good at bats as a team, and recently we've been doing that as a team. So yeah, it's good to see.
Yusuke, Kaz, thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.